Hi guys, so I'm going to start with that Thank Me Later eyeshadow primer, just applying a small amount to my eyelids and just rubbing that all over. Next, I'm going to go in with a fluffy brush from Sephora, and I'm just going to choose a pretty neutral shade, and that's what I'm going to use to set that primer that I've applied to my eyes. So just putting that all over the top of my lid. So now that primer has been set, I'm going to go in with a slightly darker color, and this is what I'm going to put all over my lid to kind of use as my transition shade before I apply those darker colors. Now that that transition color has been applied to all over my lid, I'm going in with a darker neutral shade again, and this is what I'm going to put into my outer crease here, just to kind of build up the definition on the outer edge. Moving on to just a slightly denser brush, even from the last one. And again, I'm going in with just a darker shade. I'm also going to be applying this to the outer edge there, just in a more of the crease area. So I'm kind of just like building it up and making the most definition into that crease there. So just buffing that around, making sure that it's well blended. Once that shade has been blended well, I'm going to go back in with that first Sephora brush I had and then that first neutral color. And I'm just going to apply that kind of all over my lid again just to make sure that everything is well blended and that there's no very concentrated dark areas. And now just for like a little pop of light, I'm going to go in with this kind of creamy, shimmery color. And I'm just going to apply that to my center of my lid. Next up is eyeliner, so I'm going to use that Kat Von D tattoo liner, and I'm going to do a wing. So I do my first starting lines on either side of my eye, just so I make sure that they're even and that they're going to be like the same length and size. And then from there, I just fill them in. I had to get really close to the camera for this, so that's why you don't see the whole thing. If you want to see it, let me know, and I can make a specific liquid eyeliner video for you guys. So same deal with my lashes. These are my standard lashes that I use. They are similar to the Ardell Gemini Wispies, and I buy them at Walmart for a pack of 5 for around, I believe, $13.50. So again, I need to get really up close to the mirror, so you're not going to see the whole application, but if you want to, let me know and I can definitely put something together. So I'm going to be using the Becca Backlight Primer today, but before I apply that to my face, I'm going to just use a makeup wipe, and I'm just going to wipe off any of the fallout that had happened from those eyeshadows that I had put on. So after I do that, I'm going to put about a pea-sized amount of that backlight primer on, just making sure that's all over my face. After that, I'm going to use the Benefit No Puffery primer, and that's what I'm going to put under my eyes. Helps with my creasing and any puffing that I do have there. After that, I'm going to do the Benefit Professional primer, and I always put this on my large pore areas, not all over my face. So on either side of my nose and then on my chin, just because I have that pimple there and it's extra red, and this does have a bit of a tint to it, so it does help add a little bit of coverage. So just making sure that's all rubbed in smooth and not built up in any areas. Next up is my go-to foundation, and that's the Makeup Forever Ultra HD. I'm just going to apply that in dots all over my face, and then I'm going to grab that Morphe M439 brush, and that's what I'm going to use to buff that out all over my face. After that, I'm going to go in and conceal. So to conceal, I'm using my favorite two concealers, and that is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer and the NARS Creamy Concealer. I just use that NARS to just darken it up because the Urban Decay one is just a little too light for me right now. So I'm just going to apply that under my eyes, on my nose, my chin, and then just a little bit on my forehead. So anything that's not under my eyes is kind of used as more of a highlighting tool there. So once I've applied that, I'm going to go in with a beauty blender, and that's what I'm going to use to blend out my concealer. So that's already been dampened and has been squeezed, so there's not a lot of excess water. So just making sure that that's all well blended and that it's not built up anywhere. So once that's all nice and smooth and there's no obvious areas of just stark white, I'm going to go in and set that. So to set that, I use my Laura Mercier Brightening Setting Powder, and that's what I'm going to apply under my eyes. And then to set the rest of my face, I'm going to use another Laura Mercier powder, and that's just a translucent one. So just applying that to all the other areas of my face that need to be set. So once I've done that, I'm going to go on to bronzing. I'm using that chiseled dome brush that I got in my Morphe Brush Club, and this is what I'm going to do just to kind of warm up my face. It just felt a little pale. Maybe I should have darkened up my foundation a bit in retrospect. So once I've done that, I'm going to do my eyebrows. Again, I'm going to use that new Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer in the color Soft Brown. And I am still learning, how to use this product. There is amazing 15-second videos on Instagram that I recommend you checking out. It also seems like it's a pretty good product to use on other people. I'm not a professional makeup artist, and I'm definitely not claiming to be. I'm completely self-taught. But it seems like to me that it's something that if you were a makeup artist, that you would use. A lot of the videos are showing other people doing it to other people, obviously. So that's just one thing to keep in mind with this product. So I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to carve out my brows. I do this sometimes. I just felt like I got kind of messy when I was brushing them. So I'm just using some foundation and just a brush that's kind of like thin at the top. And I'm just going to line my brows with that foundation just to kind of clean them up. It's also good if you kind of smear the product at all and you don't want to take off your foundation just to kind of cover it with another layer. I'm just going to throw on a quick coat of mascara. This is the Lacombe sample I'd received in some Sephora goodie bags. So just a quick coat on my lashes there just to help cover up those blonde ones that are my real lashes. Now I'm going to contour. So to contour, I'm using my favorite contour product, and that's the MAC Shadester. And I'm just going to use an angled brush. So I'm using just a slightly different technique that I've used in my previous videos. I'm using the side of the brush just to apply a small stripe to either side of my face. And then from there, I'm going to blend out that stripe as opposed to putting the product on the end of the brush and blending it out from there. So you'll see the finished look there. I actually was very happy with the way it turned out. Then you'll see me switch to just a bigger brush like I always do, and that's how I apply my contour to my forehead and then to my jawline. I just like that bigger, kind of fluffier brush for those areas. After I've done my forehead and my jawline, I'm just going to switch to concealer brush by e.l.f. This is what I use to contour my nose. So using the same product, I just line either side of my nose and just kind of drag that down slightly just to give a little bit of a slimming effect. And this is just what I find I like best for my nose contour. After that, I'm going to bake, so I'm just going to use a dry beauty, not a beauty blender, sorry, a makeup sponge. And I'm going to use that translucent powder by Laura Mercier that I used to set my whole face, just to kind of carve out that contoured area. I'm also going to bring that up onto my laugh lines because I find that area creases quite a bit. So while my face is baking, I'm going to apply my blush. So I'm using the Morphe blush palette here, just stippling that onto my cheeks and then blending that in to make sure I don't get too much product. After that, I'm going to move on to my highlight. I'm using my new favorite highlighter, and that's by Benefit. It's called High Beam. It's a liquid highlight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a small amount of that on the back of my hand, and then I'm just going to dab it in 3 dots along my cheekbones, and then I'm going to use a stippling brush just to blend that out. I'm also going to apply that onto the bridge of my nose and kind of on the tip and a little bit on my forehead there. Just making sure it's all well blended. I did mention this in one of my Instagram posts, but it's also very easy to build up. So just do separate layers. I just wanted a really soft highlight for this look, so I only did the one layer. But if you're looking for more of like a strobing effect, definitely add more than one layer and you'll get a really nice effect. So I brushed off that baking with just a fluffy brush, and now I'm going to just highlight my inner corners and my brow bone. So I'm going to use the MAC Nylon here, and that same brush I used to carve out my brows, just brushed off. And I'm just going to again put that on the inner corners of my eyes, and then just under my brow bone right there. Now that that highlight's done, I'm just going to apply some lipstick. I'm using the Balm Cosmetics. It was a sample I had gotten in my Ipsy bag. So I'm going to apply that all over my lips, and then I'm also going to go back in and I am going to slightly overline my lips. Just a tiny bit, and you'll see me do that in the video here. So once that's all applied, I'm going to actually put a little bit of that MAC Nylon on. So I rubbed my finger in the pan, and then I rubbed it on the back of my hand just to take off that excess because I didn't want like stark white on my lips. So then I applied that just to more of like the center of my lips, and I kind of rubbed it in. It made it have like a satiny finish, and I was actually really quite happy with the way that turned out. I'll definitely be trying that again with that lipstick and other liquid lipsticks. And of course, I had to forget something. I forgot to smoke out my bottom lash. So I just used just a standard neutral there and a pencil brush, and I applied that to my lower lash line. My actual filming here, where I take my hair down, doesn't have that lash line smoked out. I actually had to go back in and do that. Just a heads up. So just a final thing here, I'm just going to set my face using that chill and hydrating setting spray from Urban Decay. So that's it. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. It's just a pretty easy, neutral, smoky eye, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So please let me know what you think about it below, and like, subscribe, and follow me over on Instagram there. If you happen to see my last video, you'll notice, or you'll remember, sorry, that I mentioned I'd love to do a little giveaway when I get to 100 subscribers. So make sure you are subscribed and that you're following me on Instagram, and you'll hear more about that. So thanks again for stopping by. Very happy that you did, and I hope you enjoyed the video.